I'm Jackie Van Ham, and I am on an adventure to find the coolest people on two wheels. We are in Elgin, Illinois, just outside of Chicago, on this episode of Z1R Downshift. This is Iron Wings Tattoo in Elgin, Illinois. The owner is not only an incredible artist, she's also a fitness enthusiast, a singer in a heavy metal band, and a motorcyclist. We're gonna meet this incredible badass. Her name is Lariyah Perrin. To say this woman has a multifaceted background would be quite an understatement, starting with emigrating from Poland.
I grew up on the Baltic seashore, and everything was a very small town kind of a feel, so I always felt like I'm belonging to something bigger. So to school, to high school and university, I moved to a bigger town or city called Szczecin, and even that felt kind of too small. So after the first year of university, I decided to take a trip to America and just pretty much change the schools over here. So yeah, I continued education actually in Chicago, and yeah, decided to actually stop the education because the world was too fascinating, and I was asked to join a band.
That decision has created a path leading Lariyah to a current music project.
The band is called Havren.
Havren? Mm-hmm. Are you guys touring or doing anything right now? Or just playing local?
For now, we're just starting just to get the beginnings of it again over, but hopefully we'll start, but then again, like, there's a lot of things happening. We're pretty much focusing on just more old school heavy metal, like Maiden kind of style. But yeah, so we started that about 4 years ago when we used to live in Colorado, and because my career somehow managed to spike up really quickly and I started competing and going places, etc. We had to put a pause on it, and when we came to Chicago a couple years back, we resumed it, and now we're starting to perform again, so it's actually fun.
Music is just one spoke in the wheel that makes up Lariyah's life.
I decided to start going to the gym because it was cool apparently at school, so and yeah, I got fascinated with bodybuilding, and I know I don't look like now, but I'm starting again, and in December I'm going to be competing.
Lariyah's journey into motorcycle riding started after meeting someone special.
Yeah, I fell in love with this guy that now is my husband, and he was the cool biker guy, you know, with long hair, being into metal, and so I was like, well, what to do? I was like, I'm gonna jump on a bike. So he actually taught me just beginnings of that, and since I got hired on in motorcycle sales in a Harley shop, they actually offered, you know, the riding course, after which is like, well, now I need a bike. So, and then of course now, since we are trained on what kind of bikes, it's like, you already know you need to have a cool bike, not like too soft or anything, so Dyna.
When we return, Lariyah and I will discuss how she became a celebrated tattoo artist. After a year of working at the dealership, Lariyah looked for a new path.
But yeah, tattooing is actually a very new thing for me. So I tattoo only 6 years, exactly actually 6 years, and that was introduced to me when I used to work at the Harley Davidson dealership. So yeah, everything just ties in very well. And then when I was actually drawing a portrait of my daughter at the dealership, there was one guy that actually spotted me, and he said that you need to start tattooing. So I thought it's a joke, but he was very serious and he introduced me to it.
Wow. So how do you get started with that? Like, I mean, did you apprentice under somebody? Is that how that happens?
So technically, what he said is, okay, let's start with the fact that he never really worked at the real shop. He did it on his own, and he thought that he's that cool because you don't have to apprentice, you don't have to, be professional. So I was under his wings to just learn how to turn on the machine and dip it in the ink. That's all he taught me. But he said that since I already have art background, I'll figure it out. So yeah, I figured it out on my legs, on friends, and here we are.
Okay, all right. Not an unusual story. I have several friends. I'm, pretty heavily tattooed, and I have friends that tattoo. This is not an uncommon path. I just was curious if there was like a different route. But you're right. If you already have this amazing artistic background, I mean, it is kind of a natural extension, and you just need to learn the technique and pick it up along the way and practice.
Yeah, I still believe that you should apprentice. So after I already started, I decided to take actual courses instead of the full apprenticeship because there's a certain aesthetics and mannerism to the tattoo industry. And if I could change my past, I would absolutely do whole apprenticeship.
With the variety of writing that Lariyah does, she makes sure that she is equipped with the right gear.
We over here at Z1R, obviously apparel is very, very important. It's literally what we do. But it's also just very important culturally in the motorcycle scene. Every different community has like different things that they wear. Mm-hmm. What do you think is the most important piece of gear to you? What is a must-have?
100% a helmet. Sure, I will, for example, at Sturgis, when you feel completely okay to just ride without it, I do it sometimes, but helmets are by far the most important because if you think of, well, if I fall, I might die, it's like how to prevent it, that'll be your number one thing to do. And the jacket, I always get cold, no matter how warm it is outside. It just feels like it just protects me even from the wind. So
yeah.
And another big one is the shoes, because I thought I'm going to be one of those cool Dyna bros too, and I'm gonna wear just Converse. Oh my gosh, no, never again, because it's first of all it gets cold. Second of all, if you somehow have to step in water, you're just done. So a proper gear is by far the most important thing. And loud pipes, yes.
Loud pipes.
Just to save your life.
I love it. I love it. I'm into it. You're not going to want to miss part 2 of Lariyah's incredible story of a harrowing accident and how she ended up overcoming it on the next episode of Z1R Downshift.